Let's bring in Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, I'm going to go to church. This is sinful, what the Democrats have done to these children. And the Republicans are the only ones who have called attention to it.
You're absolutely right. We've known for years what the Democrats have done using children to fulfill their dreams of wide open borders and massive amnesty. At the beginning of the Biden administration, their rule was as long as there are unaccompanied minors, they get to come into the country no matter what. Then they expanded it. And what we know is that you had children being used by the drug cartels, being used by the coyotes, not just to smuggle children into the United States, but to also smuggle adults in the United States. The Biden administration stopped DNA testing at the southern border, where you could quickly figure out if the adult with the child was actually a family member or a parent, actually related. They got rid of that. And then once they're here in the United States, they lost more than 300,000 children. This is obscene. It is disgusting. It is irate. And it is one of the reasons why the American people are correct in demanding that our border is secured. Because it's not just about the illegal alien men that are in the country. It is the children who have been abused in one of the greatest humanitarian crises that has been all man-made by Joe Biden and the Democrat Party.
And you know, the woman that we saw in that soundbite at the top, Tyra Rhodes is her name. She's a whistleblower. She goes even further than you just did. She says that HHS is really complicit. They're a part. They play the middleman in the trafficking of these children by going out, not really doing the vetting, not only on the kids but on the sponsors. She mentioned one sponsor that had signed on for 2,500 children. What's that about? Obviously, a sponsor can only care for a few children at a time. 2,500. How are we going to track down these so-called sponsors?
Listen, the reality is that they never wanted to track down anybody. We've known for quite some time that when they started with migrant children, they were building tent facilities and using hotels all across the United States to spread these children out because they didn't want the pictures and the videos of kids in cages. That was step one. Step two, HHS came in and would take custody of these kids after about 72 hours from Border Patrol. Then what HHS would do is that they would help these kids find a next of kin. But again, if you're not doing DNA testing, how do you know if they're a next of kin? Three, right. People could come, and I say people, not citizens, people could come to these shelters and claim these kids without any justification of who the adult actually was. And we already know of the reports where kids were just getting up and leaving these facilities on their own. And the worst part of this is these kids have been trafficked into sex slavery. They've been trafficked into servitude of the drug cartels or other nefarious organizations, all because the Democrats have the most radical border policies in the history of our country. It is truly insane.
To add to that insanity, Congressman, the morning that President Trump won the presidency for a second time, you had Democrats and their followers talking about internment camps that were going to be opened, people talking about, I'll be in the streets, you know, protecting children from deportation. Again, where have they been the last 4 years? Where is the outrage and upset from these people who stood by and allowed this to happen and didn't say a word about missing kids and just, again, women and children drowning once the border was open almost 4 years ago?
No, you're exactly right. Add to that the kids who were lost, who died in the back of tractor trailers being driven from our southern border due to heat exhaustion. You got to add that to it. You got to add the young girls who have been raped in the journey to our southern border, sold into sex slavery. All those things have occurred. We've all known that's been the case, but HHS and the Department of Homeland Security under Joe Biden and the radical left simply did not care. Right. They like to feign outrage about kids in cages, but they will not talk about the children who've been lost, more than 500,000 now, who have been lost down the rabbit hole under criminal cartels, and our government has been complicit.
In Republican Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Lieutenant Governor, great to have you with us. Thank you very much. I want to actually start with a clip from this movie, City of Dreams, which shows in a fictitious form what happens to some of these children. Just watch this real quick.
First shift 6:30, second shift 12:30, last shift till 11, and boom, lights out at midnight. You crush it.
I know there's more of them in there.
Well, fake passport isn't going to cut it.
Yes, sir.
These people have no criminal history whatsoever.
Kind of busy shin. The busy kind.
We've got.
Yeah, Martha, we have known this for 4 years under Biden and Kamala Harris. When President Trump was in charge of the border, Border Patrol knew to look for children who did not look like they fit with the adult, because you don't know if you're Border Patrol. There's no identification on anyone. And so they say, this is my niece, this is my nephew, this is my son. You don't know. And Trump did a great job of trying to get to the heart of that. Who are these kids and who are these people with them? The Biden administration did none of that. You know, the Biden administration did a lot of damage to this country, Martha, but this is a sin. This is the greatest sin of all, because they knew, and I'm sorry, Martha, they didn't care, because the political gains that they wanted by having open borders for whatever their reasons are to win elections and turn illegal immigrants into citizens, these children, as we sit here today, they are being raped, sexually assaulted multiple times a day in stash houses and other houses somewhere in our country right now. I can't think of anything worse. Anything worse, Martha?
I know that there are situations in this government report where 2,500 different children had the same contact person in the United States. Now you ask yourself, you know, are they all going to a family, or are they going to a sweatshop like this? And the crazy thing about that sweatshop that you see in the film is that when they show you the drone shot of the neighborhood, it's in a regular, normal neighborhood, but it has a construction fence around it. And these people are abusing these children all day long. Now, Katie Hobbs, the Arizona governor, said this. Watch this.
Would you, as governor, allow state police and National Guard to carry out mass deportations?
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, and I've been incredibly clear about that.
I'm fed up with the liberal attitude of we know best, and we pretend to care about people, but we don't care about our own citizens who are killed and raped and tortured by illegal immigrants here, like Jocelyn Nungaray in Houston. It was terrible. They don't care about these children who have come across this border. You know, the Bible's pretty clear. You know, those who harm my children, you might as well have a millstone around your neck in the water. These are sins on the hand, and I know this sounds strong, but when you allow hundreds of thousands of children that you know you could have protected, you could have stopped. It's not like they didn't know this, Martha. They were told, and they just said it's okay. And this is a sin that, quite frankly, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden own. And it's one of the things I'm most thankful for that President Trump won, because this would have continued and hundreds of thousands of more children would have been enslaved and assaulted and put into the sex slave trade. We have to go rescue these kids.
We absolutely do.
We have to rescue them.
Yeah, and the cartels took advantage of this open border. They have enormous business running sweatshops and selling videos of these young women and then shipping them off as housekeepers to places where that is not what is happening. So I really encourage everybody to listen to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and to watch City of Dreams if you want to get a sense of what what's going on in our country in the name of not separating children.
I don't know how they look themselves in the mirror. I don't know how they do that.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you very much. Great to see you here in New York. Come see us again soon. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Obscene. Obscene. Irate. Irate. Complicit. complicit, next of kin, next of kin, servitude, servitude, nefarious, nefarious, internment, internment.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.